Hi everyone, thanks for coming back and joining me for another video. There's going to be quite a few this week. So before I start, please no one tell me about the podcast. I haven't listened to the podcast, I haven't read about the podcast. I will be talking about Meghan's podcast in the next video. So just bear with me on this one and try not to give me too many spoilers. So what did I get up to at the weekend? Well, I squeezed in a date night, which was incredibly lovely with my wonderful husband. We went out for a really nice dog walk. Funny enough, I'm wearing the overalls that I took my dogs out for a walk with, but how cute is this outfit? This is from Cider. I have just discovered them on Instagram and I've already spent like £200 on some new clothes. I don't go shopping very often, especially because I did gain so much weight as well. I was living in leggings and baggy tops. So now I'm actually getting myself back into fitted and more tailored clothes, which is nice. But let's get on with the royal family. So there's been some lovely things that have been happening to people all around the UK. People that are celebrating their 100th birthday or their 105th birthday. They would normally receive, obviously, cards from the Queen, but now we've been updated with the King and Queen Camilla. And this has been a tradition actually since King George V. That's actually Queen Elizabeth's grandfather. And I think it's wonderful. They do it for 100th birthdays. They do it, I think it's your 60th wedding anniversary. No, it definitely is, because my husband's grandparents have got one of those cards. But I think it's a really beautiful photograph of Charles and Camilla. Camilla she looks really lovely there. Really nice, genuine smile. I'm glad it wasn't stuffy and formal. I'm glad that the royal family are stepping away from those formal, official portraits. And they just look a lot more personable, don't they? So one of the lucky ladies to have received a card was Ruth Park Pearson, who was a World War II veteran, and she's celebrating turning 100. I've got to say, she looks cracking for 100 years old. That's truly remarkable. She looks amazing. So happy birthday to Ruth. Now, Catherine and William, due to it being the children's school holidays, have been a bit quiet. This is causing quite a few people to say they shouldn't have as much time off when it comes to children's summer holidays, but their children are still very young. And I do believe that we've seen quite a fair bit of Catherine and William when they did their whirlwind tour, didn't they, to Scotland, to Wales and to Ireland. So I'm definitely giving them a break. But just before everyone broke up for the kiddies' half terms, Catherine and William took over the airwaves and they did a special news beat for the BBC, and it's to do with Mental World Health Day. They met with lots of different guests from all different backgrounds, from charities, from volunteers, from people that have struggled with mental health themselves. From what I've read in the media, every person that was there says the same thing, that they are so friendly face to face that it's a little bit daunting when you're actually going to meet the Prince and Princess of Wales, because we see them on TV, we read about them in magazines, I talk about them, and you're always worried that someone's going to be a little bit different, or because they're royalty, do you have to curtsy, do you shake, what do you do? And they said that they just put everyone at ease. And I have read this time and time again with Catherine and William. They laugh, they relax, they don't care if people curtsy. They are very, very informal when they go to events like this, because they want everyone to feel welcome. They want to come across as approachable, and it really, really shows. So it's always nice to hear these things being said about them by people that are actually there, real people rather than paid staff. Catherine and William also are massive champions for mental health. Catherine spearheaded the Heads Together campaign, despite what Meghan and Harry might want to tell people. So, of course, the royal couple are champion charities for World Mental Health Day. Not to be outdone, Harry has made an appearance in San Francisco. But rather than Harry talking to members of the public and the audience, he's up on stage being the executive that he is. You remember the chimpo? He is up there, and it's just one big advertising billboard for Better Up, which it's basically life coaching. He appeared on stage at the Masters of Scale Summit, where he spoke about, well, himself. The summit, as it says in their advertising blurb, is to immerse the most forward-thinking, fast-scaling business leaders. So why the hell is Harry there? He's not a leader. He's not a business leader. I mean, Harry and Meghan can call themselves what they want. Meghan can march around calling herself a princess. Harry can tell the world that he is a chimpo, a global humanitarian. He is a leader of the masses. Just because they call themselves these titles doesn't actually mean that they are them. Now, there's many things that you can laugh about Prince Harry, but one of them notably being that he is dead against misinformation and disinformation being spread by corporate companies, by the media, but has no problem with the amount of dis and misinformation he and his wife put out. Now, Harry has also taken a leap out of Meghan's book here, and he's rewriting his history to do with mental health. I never ever thought I would be sitting on this stage saying therapy is good and coaching will change your life, and the more people we can get to do that, the better. So Harry has never thought that he would sit on stage and talk about mental health therapy before. Coaching might be slightly different, but that's because he is paid to talk about Better Up and life coaching. And he is muddying the waters between mental health and having therapy by proper qualified and trained professionals to having life coaching. And when I've looked up about Better Up before, one, they charge an absolutely disgusting amount of money for a membership that you can have like an app on your phone. The people that work for them, these coaches, can be different levels of qualifications, than the lowest being basically, as far as I'm concerned, not qualified. Life coaching can be good for people in the right scenarios, but in no way should it be used as a substitute when people have got mental health issues and they need to see doctors, they need to see qualified, trained therapists, they need to see registered, academically approved, you need to have medical supervision with a lot of cases with people with mental health. A life coach, I'm sorry, is not going to cut it when it is to the levels of depression and anxiety that Harry seems to talk about. He is there purely to advertise the company that is paying him a six-figure salary. And I just can't see how Harry can't see how it can be damaging to his fans and the youngsters that follow him and go, I'm really depressed, I'm in such a dark place, I'm going to pay money that I don't have to speak to Better Up. Or what was that advice before? If you're not happy in your job, just quit it. Well, that's all well and good when you got millions in the bank account. Harry even admits that he is basically there to sell Better Up by saying, so from a Better Up standpoint, what are we trying to do now? The goal is the democratization of coaching to make sure we can get it to the masses. What? We're also at the point where we need to unlock that potential because of the state of the world and the number of the unknowns. What is he babbling on about? The state of the world is in such a dark place. There's all of these unknowns. It's terrifying. He even says about, it's terrifying if you have children. The world is terrifying if you don't have children. But don't worry, sign up to Better Up for $100 a month, whatever it is, and your life will change. It is the worst advertisement in the world. And the thing is, it is Harry using his titles. I don't care what anyone says. The Duke of Sussex, Prince Harry, he is using his royal connections to promote a company for money. And I don't agree with it because Harry, in a way, has monetized mental health. And for someone who has quite clearly struggled a lot in his own life, as I said, putting it into the same as life coaching, he needs proper therapy, and I would still say even now, he doesn't seem resolved over his mother's death. And considering he's been having therapy since his mother's death, which is another subject, my light bulb just went in, did you see it? He had the cheek to turn around and say on stage that he didn't know about getting therapy until Meghan got him therapy. It was only when Meghan came into his life and saved him. Now, we've heard him try and plug this before, but the problem is Harry and Meghan lie so much, they literally throw each other under buses all the time. By Harry saying that Meghan literally was the only person that made him get help. One, it's a lie, which I'll come to, but two, so Meghan could get help for her husband, but was completely clueless being pregnant with maternity care of how to get mental health support or to speak to a therapist when she lived in the UK. Right, that makes so much sense, doesn't it? Now, Meghan trips up here on her latest interview. Well, she trips up quite a lot of the time, in all honesty. But in her latest interview, she was like, Harry was the one that got me help. But on Oprah, Harry sat there and said, I didn't get my wife help because I was ashamed. And this is someone that's now canvassing to sell Better Up to people that might be struggling mentally with everyday life. And this is the man that didn't get his pregnant wife who was threatening suicide. This isn't just like she felt a little bit sad. Suicide while she was pregnant, and he felt too ashamed to get help. Again, I know I said it before, but it's the tangled web we weave when we're trying to deceive. Now let's talk about Harry, the fact that he's saying that he never got mental health support before Meghan. When they left, the first big speaking event that Harry did was everywhere. It was all over the newspapers. He got paid something like near enough $1 million to speak at a JP Morgan banking event in Miami. Harry told those people on stage that he had been in therapy for roughly about 7 years at that point. And he had also said in various interviews over the years that he'd been in and out of therapy since his mother died. His father Charles encouraged him to have therapy because Charles himself had therapy. William, Prince William, his brother, he was the one that Harry even said, it was because of William pushed me to get help that I finally did it. Catherine, massive support to Harry, and she was also, as I said, she spearheaded their heads together. Harry is completely rewriting his history. All of these people have helped him at points in his life. And okay, fine. He's pretending that they don't exist. He didn't have a life before Meghan. He can't do that when he himself has been interviewed and stood on stage and said, I've been in therapy for 7 years. Harry has worked with charities, with veterans, with children, with families. Harry was an army officer where you are responsible for your colleagues. They need to look out for their mental health whilst in war zones. It's a huge thing in the army. You know, this is something that I find it almost outrageous, angering. I know I say that, I laugh about him, but it's the fact that he can lie about that. He has himself done charity walks. You know, he's been part of the Wounded Warriors. That's where he got the idea for the Invictus Games. You know, there's so many things that Harry's done over the years to do with mental health, supporting mental health, encouraging mental health. And here he is now that he's getting a paycheck from BetterUp going, I never thought I'd ever know about therapy or coaching if it wasn't for Meghan and BetterUp. Honestly, as I said, it's pure marketing. It's pure advertising. Harry is basically selling a product, and I think there's something morally wrong with that because he's muddied the waters, like I said, between mental health struggles and life coaching. They are very different. But also he himself, who has had genuine mental health struggles, and he is being paid to promote this. And he does have fans. He does have people that look up to him. I know they're beyond me and probably help. But, you know, there is a following for Harry. And I think it's dangerous for him trying to convince people that it's a good substitute for rather than actually seeking mental health support from proper professionals. For Harry, it's no longer about helping people and genuinely wanting to make a difference. It's about getting a paycheck, and that is a very, very sad decline for someone that was once one of the most popular royals. Now, speaking of money, Meghan is onto her next payday as well. It has been announced that Meghan is going to Indianapolis and she is going to be given a talk for the power of women. It's called An Evening with Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. She's got to merch those titles. She's following in the footsteps of Michelle Obama, who had a sellout event. The former First Lady sold out the Bankers Life Fieldhouse. This is an absolutely huge arena, so you can imagine the number of people this sold out. Tickets started from $25 to $500. From what I've read, they also secured 500 tickets at the lower price to ensure that women and girls from all different economic backgrounds can actually be able to afford to come see Michelle Obama at the event. I think that personally says a lot about Michelle. Now, despite Meghan giving a speech for the same people and following in Michelle's footsteps, Meghan's event will be in a conference room at one of the Marriott hotels in Indianapolis. Now, where it also differs is not just the size of it. Yes, Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, has come a long way since the Mark Hotel, $75,000 per night for a penthouse, and she's being put up in the Marriott. Now, I don't think for one second that Meghan will stay in the Marriott because her tastes are far, far superior to that. So Archwell, I'm sure, will get new hair, new clothes, new accommodation, private jet travel. It will all be on there and it will all go through their foundation. But this is the thing that is shocking people. Michelle Obama's event, bearing in mind, as I said, no matter what your political views are, she was the First Lady of America for a number of years. Meghan, who has achieved nothing other than being a cable TV actress, a deal or no deal briefcase girl, which I now have a newfound respect for all of those ladies after Meghan torched it to the ground. And she's married a prince. That's it. These are Meghan's achievements. She can talk about all of the things that she talks about, because that's all Meghan really does is talk. She's not a doer, she's a sayer. But Meghan's events are charging $5,000 per table. It's truly shocking, isn't it, that she can be actually justifying that amount of money per table for Meghan, An Evening with Meghan. Bearing in mind, Meghan, when she was at the One Young World Summit, managed to mention herself 54 times in 7 minutes. Can you imagine an evening with Meghan? Oh dear Lord, it's like torture. I tell you what, stop sending people to prison. Stick them in that Marriott hotel room until they repent their sins and they promise to leave a life of crime behind them. In good news, however, Meghan has barred the media. So that means that we won't be inundated with loads and loads of articles. It does mean that she'll no doubt take Miss Anne Harriman, who is her favourite photographer, and, we'll get a few leaked, posed, perfectly photoshopped photographs of Meghan on stage, Meghan speaking, and there will be a couple of her favoured media outlets that will no doubt cover in a sugary, syrupy, sweet way everything that Meghan says and how people stood up and gave her a standing ovation. And Meghan nearly fainted after she said the words me, myself and I 700 times in under 30 seconds flat. The fact that she has barred the media from this event, though, one, I find it weird that the organisation would want that, because this is the whole idea. The media gives them coverage. The other thing is I think Meghan's been a little bit sensitive because, when you get a feminist liberal like Whoopi Goldberg calling you out, you're done. Meghan is lying too much, even for the woke people. They are really struggling to defend her anymore. Like, take Deal or No Deal. Do you know there's been about half a dozen girls that have come out now, including people that worked on the set, the woman that was in charge of the wardrobe. All of these people are coming out saying it's completely fabricated, it's not true. Now, I know you've got the typical Meghan fans going, yeah, but who are these people to turn around and say that Meghan shouldn't feel the way that Meghan felt? Yes, but that's the problem, because the way Meghan feels and what the truth is are very two different things. And if you're going to go round and attack a show or turn around and say, this happened, this is terrible, where it's actually going to heap negativity onto what you're talking about, then you tell the truth. You don't turn around and say, well, that's how I felt at the time. That's on you. So lots has been said recently to do with celebrities talking very badly to people in restaurants. James Corden is someone that's in the firing line at the moment, and he has finally admitted that he did do something wrong, and he's almost justified it by saying that they deserved it. But, they say how you treat people that serve you in, restaurants, shop assistants, anyone that provides a service to you, customer service, how you treat them is basically, it shows the type of character that you are. I can't say that I was that shocked about James Corden that he behaved like that. I've never really warmed to him. He's always come across to me as arrogant. That's come through the TV. And it didn't surprise me. Nor did it surprise me when it came out that Meghan in 2017 got a member of her staff or a friend. I mean, it's probably muddied waters with Meghan, but she got them to ring ahead at a restaurant, and they wanted an exclusive table, and the restaurant was like, look, I've got lots of people coming, you can turn up or you don't turn up. They turned up 20 minutes early, and Meghan didn't really speak to anyone. Apparently she was aloof. I'd say that's stuck up. And her friend was like, you do realise that she is going to marry Prince Harry and she's going to be a duchess, like it afforded her some sort of superior service not reserved for anyone else. But the guy who it was stood his ground and basically turned around and said, I don't really care if she's the Queen of Sheba. This is the way the restaurant works. And I'm like, we need more people like that in the world. But it just goes to show that even before Meghan was married, she had that level of self-importance and arrogance. We had read that she was even like this when she was dating Corey Vitello in Canada, and that was part of the reasons where friction started happening with the couple. He didn't like the way that Meghan spoke down to people. I mean, the fact that he was a chef himself, he works with waiting staff all of the time. So I can imagine that it was quickly becoming a sort of issue in the relationship. Now, obviously, we saw a lot of negativity to do with Deal or No Deal, the fact that Meghan has told some porcupines yet again. So what does Meghan do? She stages a paparazzi set-up stroll. She looks so natural and so casual here. 1 minute she's got the jumper tied around her shoulders, then she's got it round the back, then she's got the sunglasses on, then she's got the sunglasses off. She's got to make it look natural, although she forgot herself here and stuck her tongue out. The photographer that she wasn't meant to know that was there, here she is directing her friend or employee. She's doing some sort of big fish, small fish cardboard box, pointing, yes, we're going that way. Don't make eye contact with the photographer. I need this to look natural. And this blind's come out that Meghan got her staff to go into the shops or to ring ahead, it's not quite disclosed there. I'd imagine she's got 2 members of staff with her, and to say that they are not allowed to talk to the Duchess. They are not allowed to have a conversation with Meghan. She must come into the shops and she must be able to shop in silence by herself. Wow, the level of arrogance is truly shocking. How could you treat people that are there, that are paid minimum wage? A lot of these people, I'm sure even in the high-end stores, you are still a shop clerk. But these people are there to serve you, to customer service. And you've got the attitude of you are so special in this world that a mere person that works on a shop floor can't even come over and speak to you. The arrogance is outstanding. There's so many different levels of narcissism, and this is just unbelievably at the top of the list. I just find it absolutely appalling that anyone could behave this way. It's just an appalling way to look at other human beings and to see them so beneath you that they're not allowed to look at you, they're not allowed to talk to you. Who the hell does she think she is? I am, however, sure that the shop staff got the last laugh because despite obviously Meghan informing people that she's too good, she's that much of a grandiose narcissist, that you're not allowed to share the same space as her and to talk to her because she's royal, don't you know? The fact that she was walking around in something that I can say looks like an incontinence bodysuit. She literally had a bubble butt. It was the most unflattering outfit I think I've ever seen her wear, and she looked like that she was wearing a nappy. That's a diaper for my American friends. So I will leave you on that lovely image and note, and I will be back with you very soon. I am going to be covering the podcast, and I might even do a little bit of self-torture and listen to some of it. So I will be back soon, and I will see you with bleeding eardrums at a later date. Take care for now. Bye.
If you would like to buy me a coffee, please go to my About page and click the link. Love, Taz.